They call him Seatin, the man of legends.
Hey guys, what is up? It is Seatin here, the self-proclaimed man of legends. Now, in this short video, I'm going to be talking about how to play 61 Warden and various sub-souls. I mean, there are a few different versions. I'm currently using the 13 Sentinel 2 Inquisitor one because I like that one slightly more because I like having Touch the Light for healing Cataract. But also, there is a spec that Ahovs uses with Purifier and Sentinel variant. But I prefer this spec just because it does slightly more DPS and yeah, it just suits my playstyle a bit more. But by all means, you know, I'll add his spec to the guide in the description of this video and also a link to his written guide. Now, I'm going to talk about a bit how I play Warden. Warden, just to start off with, as a brief overview, is primarily an AoE healer. So if you take this spec into an expert dungeon, you're going to have a fairly bad time unless you're quite overgeared like I am. So I'd suggest only using it for sort of bosses that have very heavy AoE healing, and so generally it's only used in raids, just so to speak, and maybe sort of port side if you're looking to PvP with a spec. Now, there are about, in total, I believe about 8 abilities that I suggest using. I know, looking at my bar at the bottom, it's very sort of crowded at the moment, and I'm going to explain in sort of what scenarios to use them, and then talk over a bit of video footage of me healing a raid in Warden, basically. So, some real exciting stuff on this video. Now, when the raid is above 75%, sort of what you want to do is, what I do is I spam, get 5 stacks of geyser. So say the raid's on full health, I'll get 5 stacks of geyser, and then I'll use a healing flood, and then just keep on spamming geyser, basically. Geyser does damage, and also heals everybody for about sort of well, it might get 1,000 to 2,000 depending on it crits, and it also adds a stack of Dangers of the Deep, which increases my healing by 3% per stack, and also increases the duration of all my hots by 1%. 1 second even, sorry, not 1%. So yeah, that's if all the raid is above 75%. When the raid starts going below that, what I like to do, it really depends on the kind of damage that's coming. If it's going to be very quick and spiky damage, and you want to get them topped up, I'll use my Pools of Restoration and Healing Effusion macro. So I've macroed them together, so I don't use Healing Effusion while I've got Pools of Restoration off cooldown, because basically they're the same kind of instant bursty heal. Pools of Restoration, however, relies on people being together, which is often the scenario in a raid, and also Pools of Restoration is 1/4 of the mana cost, because Healing Effusion is a very expensive heal to use. So that's kind of my emergency heal. So if people are going to die really quickly, I'll just slam that one on quickly. If the damage is going to be fairly steady, I will just sort of spam Healing Cataract. Now, if I'm prepping for very bursty damage, which is very common in fights like sort of, you know, the last boss in Triumph for the Dragon Queen, General Typheria, or maybe Volan, what I'll make sure I do is I'll have 5 stacks of Dangers the Deep up, and then I'll cast Tidal Surge, and then Monsoon. This will apply all of your hots onto every target, and give them an 80% increase on their healing. So it's literally like God mode for 10 people. It's pretty fucking awesome and overpowered. If there's going to be several waves of bursty damage, what I'll do is I'll use Wave of Renewal, which basically heals everybody on its initial outward tick and then on the initial inward tick. So it heals everybody twice for about 10k. Now, in Ahovs' guide, he suggests using Flashover with that. However, the reason I haven't gone with Flashover is because that heal is pretty damn overpowered already, and most of it's overhealing anyway, at least from my experiences. So, you know, I don't bother with Flashover or the Purifier guide, but, you know, some people may prefer that, so it's up to them. Anyways, I'm going to quickly cut to some raid footage and explain what I'm doing in the various scenarios. It's very hard to give a straight Warden rotation, just because Warden healing is very versatile, and you've got to really get used to stuff and learn how to react with the various situations in front of you, so I'm going to show you how to do that now. Anyways, on to the raids. So this is the last boss in Triumph of the Dragon Queen, more commonly known as General Typheria. Now you'll notice I'm healing this with a bard, which isn't really a healer, so I'm sort of mainly in charge of the healing for this fight. I initially popped 2 of my damage over time abilities because I know there's not too much to heal, and then I got my 5 stacks of Geyser up, and then popped Tidal Surge and Monsoon. This is due to the fact that I know the big AoE damage is coming. Tempest Agony, you'll see it's dealing 9k, and I'm not even having to use any healing spells, just due to the fact that the residue heals left over from when I cast Monsoon just instantly topped everybody off, and there was no need to cast healing at all. So if you look at the damage meter, I managed to pull like 6k DPS and 10k HPS. Well, it's actually gone down. But yeah, that's a fairly good idea of, how you handle a fairly easy and bursty situation like that. So if there was another Tempest Agony, what I'd probably do is I'd use my Wave of Renewal and then spam my healing, Effusion and Pools of Restoration macro, just to, keep the raid topped up, and that should have been absolutely fine. I mean, for an encounter like this, even a freshly dinged level 60 Warden should be able to solo heal it with no problem. Well, providing they have a bard. I mean, I'd say it's pretty easy to, heal this boss without a bard, but, no, as long as you know what you're doing, I think you should be fine on this boss without a bard. Anyways, so going on to the next phase, I mean, this is extremely easy AoE healing wise. You'll notice my Pools of Restoration quickly got to Dane up there, and what I did was I popped my Tidal Surge and Wave of Renewal just to give the tank quite a big heal there, because it's also because it heals so much, it's very good for topping up tanks as well, but it's not a reliable way to top up tanks just due to the fact that it is on a 1-minute cooldown. So that is it for General Typheria. Now we're going to look at the boss before General Typheria, actually, which is called Jalfarin. Now this one is a tad more difficult to heal, just due to the fact that it relies on occasionally using Overflowing Renewal, something that I really don't like using, just due to the fact that the tank damage sometimes is pretty damn high on this. You'll notice what I'm trying to do is basically I'm spamming Geyser, keeping Healing Flood up, and when the raid gets sort of below about 75%, just quickly popping a Pools of Restoration to quickly top them up. Now, with, sort of the capability of me being able to solo heal this, you'll notice that the boss is going down extremely fast because we've got a lot of room for more people to go DPS. So somebody who really knows how to play Warden can definitely make a huge impact on sort of 10-man boss kills and the speed that they go down. So it's highly advised that you do spend a bit of time practicing, I can't explain exactly how to play Warden in every scenario, but hopefully this video is going to give you a few hints and tips and be like, oh yeah, I could do that, or I could change the way I play Warden like this, so that I can solo heal all these bosses and be really cool, and then the guild will love me and give me loads of loot because I'm an awesome and cool player. So yeah, that's the whole idea of the video today, guys. So as you'll notice, it's fairly straightforward. I keep up the rotation of I don't know why I used the healing cataract then. I'm not entirely sure, I can't figure that one out. It just must have been a spur of the moment thing. But my sort of 6 to 10k geysers hitting the boss quite hard, and you'll see I'm pulling about 4k DPS and 10k HPS, which is pretty much the same as what a Chloromancer would pull. So yeah, I haven't quite figured the value of Warden over Chloromancer yet, but it's good. Well, the Chloromancer will probably pull more, but regardless of which, Warden is a fun spec to play. Anyway, moving on to the next boss, which is Iskall. Now, Iskall is the 3rd boss in the Intrepid Drowned Halls raid, and it's often advised that you use a Warden here, just due to the high mobility AoE healing on sort of the various running phases, and the fact that you can just top the raid up like that. So it is just really awesome on this fight. Now, there isn't much AoE healing in his sort of statutory phase where he's just kind of standing there, but when he starts doing this initial whirlpool, people are going to get slowed and take a lot of damage. So what I suggest you do is pop Tidal Surge and Monsoon. So for the first 20 seconds of this, which almost covers the full duration. I think this ability's sort of got a total of a 25-second duration that it runs, where he's sort of swirling around the room. It will top everybody up that takes damage from it fairly instantly, and then if anybody else is sort of getting low, you can just use pools of restoration to quickly top them up. Now, apart from that, you know, it's just a fairly standard spam geyser, and keep healing flood up, and Bob is your uncle. Congratulations, you have won the game of Warden. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I think that is pretty much it for the Warden guide. It is fairly straightforward. I hope you have learned a thing or two for this video. If you have any questions at all, please do let me know in the comments below, and I will try my best to answer them. Once again, I am no Cleric Jesus, but I do try my best to explain it to people and how I play the game. And, you know, I'm doing a fairly good job. Managed to solo heal all of those bosses by myself, so I might be doing something right. Anyways, thank you for watching. Take care.